Hi everyone, today we are diving into the depths of the ocean with a stunning watercolor painting of a dolphin, and we are using just two colors, turquoise blue and the Payne gray. Limiting your color palette is a fantastic exercise that helps you focus on value, contrast, and composition without the distraction of multiple colors. It also pushes your creativity, making you find ways to create depth and interest with just a few hues. Let's get started and make a painting with this unique approach. Here is what you will need for today's tutorial: turquoise blue and Payne gray, a piece of watercolor paper, masking tape, a few brushes, a pencil and eraser, and 2 jars of clean water. Let's get our workspace ready and dive into the painting. We start by sketching our dolphins. Lightly draw the outlines of 2 dolphins, capturing this graceful movement as they swim through the water. Don't worry about perfection, these lines are just a guide. Next, we've used a needle eraser to gently lighten our pencil lines. This will ensure the sketch doesn't show through too strongly once we start painting. Now, we will tape the borders of our paper with masking tape. This will help keep the edges clean and prevent any paint from bleeding outside your painting area. It's especially useful because we will be using a wet-on-wet technique for the background. Let's start by wetting the paper around the dolphins. Be careful to avoid the dolphin shapes. This wet-on-wet technique will help us create smooth transitions in the background. Here's a little trick. I'm placing a wood block under one side of the painting board to create a slight angle. This will help the paint flow more naturally and create smooth transition in our background. First, we will apply a very diluted wash of turquoise blue to the wet paper. This will serve as our base layer, giving the water a light, airy feel. Next, using turquoise blue in a milk-like consistency, we will add it just below. It is blending seamlessly into the lighter wash. This adds more depth and richness to our underwater scene. This technique is called gradient wash. Finally, we will mix turquoise blue with the Payne gray to create a darker blue. The reason why we are using turquoise blue, I think this color will give us that beautiful calming underwater effect. Applying this to the bottom of the painting, allowing it to blend naturally with the lighter areas. This gradient will mimic the depth of the ocean, giving our scene a realistic and immersive look. Let it dry completely before we move on to the next step. Now that our first layer is completely dry, let's move on to painting the dolphins. We will start with the upper dolphin. First, mix a very light wash of turquoise blue with a bit of Payne gray. This will be used to paint the shadow areas of the dolphin, giving it a subtle, realistic look. Carefully apply this light wash to the shadow area of the dolphin. Focus on the underside and any area that would naturally be darker. Next, switch to Payne gray to paint the tail and fins. This will add depth and contrast, making this part stand out against the lighter body. Now let's continue with the second dolphin. For this one, we will use the wet on wet technique to create a more natural rendering of the shadows. Start by wetting the area where the second dolphin will be. This will allow the colors to blend smoothly and naturally. Mix Payne gray with a little turquoise blue to create our shadow color. Since this dolphin will have more shadows, this mix will give us the depth we need. As you paint the dolphin, let the colors flow and blend on the wet surface. Remember to save some white areas for highlights. These highlights will add dimension and make the dolphin look more realistic. And if you are interested in learning more about how to paint gradient washes using the wet on wet technique, be sure to check out my other video where I dive into different washes and the wet on wet techniques. And here is the final painting. Look at how the two colors, turquoise blue and the Payne gray, create such a beautiful underwater scene with our graceful dolphins. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed exploring with just two colors, you might also love my video on painting with only one color. It's a fun and a creative challenge that really pushes your watercolor skills. Check out for more inspirations and techniques in this video.